Woohoo! I had a great week filled with miracles, and I'm totally jazzed to be here with you right now. How about you? We're ready to review the sixth element of the manifesting model: align and remove barriers. But wait! I changed the name of the model this week from manifesting model becoming the best version of yourself to manifesting your soul purpose system, 7 steps to abundantly living your truth. Isn't that more powerful? Let me know in the blog comments what you think. The reason for this change will become clear as I walk you through this post. So, before I jump into the details of step 6, I want to rewind and address step 2 of this model, acknowledge source. Maybe I need to come up with a new name for this part of the model. Leave me your comments if you think so, or maybe I just need to re-emphasize it. I've received some feedback not only after the last step, but along the way, that I should touch on the topic of prayer for guidance. And in last week's post, especially prayer for guidance on making optimal decisions. So let me be totally 1000% clear on this point. Steps 3 through 6, the colored steps with arrows pointing to acknowledge source, all assume the guidance of your source or higher power. That's why the arrows are pointing to acknowledge source. Let me say it another way. All of the steps are centered on your source or higher power, whatever that is for you. So I say to the question of prayer for guidance, yes, 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 and yes. That's what I've been talking about all along. So guidance for gratitude, guidance for clarity, connecting to your source for presence, connecting to your source for decisions, and now connecting to your source to help remove barriers. These are all centered on your source or higher power. Do I need to say that any more clearly, or do you get it now? So this is a source, higher power centered model. The whole thing. From my perspective, anything else would be a waste of time. If that doesn't resonate for you, leave me a comment. It's okay to say even more clearly. Let me leave with a quote. The greatest form of worship to our Creator is to take each moment with every movement and every thought and boldly engage life as a prayer. This is a relatively contemporary quote from the 1990s. Leave me a comment in the blog if you know who this quote is from, and I'll reveal the source next week. And now for step 6, remove barriers, align and remove barriers. So let's look at barriers first. Barriers are the things that keep you from moving forward. Most people think barriers are things like money, connections, knowledge, and skills. While all of those may be needed depending on your goal, the barriers I'm referring to are the stories in your head about what is possible and the feelings inside you that act as brakes on progress. With the limiting stories and feelings cleared out of your being, then the money, connections, knowledge, and skills are free to flow into the present moment to assist you in moving forward. What do I mean by stories? Well, stories are formed over the course of your life. Stories are what you were told growing up, or even yesterday, that you believe to be real about yourself. The biggest story of them all is, I'm not blank enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough, etc. This is what this blog is all about, remember? Who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. And how do all good parents view their children? That's right. As brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Your higher power only sees you that way. So identify your stories and release them so that they no longer have power over you. For example, one story I had up until recently is that taking on my coaching business and writing a blog was going to be exhausting. So I kept putting it off. And once I released that story as nonsense, I'm able to fully jump in and have fun with coaching and blogging, etc. And when you're having fun, you don't get exhausted, you get enthused. Hint, enthused means filled with your higher power energy. Get it? Get rid of your stories and negative feelings, and you get filled up with your source energy to bring forth your gifts. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's go on to feelings. So feelings can be a byproduct of crazy stories. That's why it's important to clear the stories first. If you believe you have released all your stories, but you're still not moving forward, then it's time to address what's inside. Close your eyes for a minute and tune into your body. Where do you feel blocked? It could be your head, because you're caught up in your thoughts about the past or anxieties of the future. It could be in your throat, because you're afraid to speak your truth. It could be your heart, because you're afraid of being hurt. It could be your gut, because you can't digest your reality. And it could be your groin, because you're not grounded in truth. Whatever these feelings are, let them come forth and release them. They do not benefit you or move you forward towards your sole purpose in life. Once the barriers are out of the way and you are aligned to the truth of who you are and what you are here to bring to the world, then everything else in your life starts to become clear, and you can see from now to infinity. Your only task at this point is to push on the first domino, and the rest is pure flow. If you're not feeling pure flow in your life, then you're not fully cleared. Go back to stories and feelings. What did you miss? There's something else. If you want to go deeper on this topic, there's some incredible books that will transform your life. Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Check those out. Maybe I'll have a couple more when I do up the blog notes, and I'll put links in there for you. And finally, let's say you get good, really good at clearing stories and feelings that are blocking you from the abundance that your higher power has been waiting to pour on you. Then what? Abundance starts to rain down on you. It starts to flow slow at first, but then it accelerates. The only limiting factor on the flow rate is your commitments to stay connected to your source or higher power and out of the stories and negative feelings that have been in the way the whole time. That's why most successful people take time every day to meditate or pray and connect to their higher power. So what do I mean by abundance? I'm not talking solely about worldly abundance. Although when you clear your stories and feelings that are blocking you, you will certainly experience worldly abundance. I'm also talking about abundance of love, joy, peace, and light. Remember that post? Here's another key to accelerating abundance. Remember the post number 2 called Building a Gratitude Foundation, way back at the beginning. Gratitude is the accelerator in the feedback loop between you and your source or higher power. That's really the essence of the parable of the talents. Is one of my favorite parables. To he who produces more, i.e., to he who is grateful and productive with the abundance that was originally given, more will be given to him. It's the ultimate positive feedback loop. So, go back and read Building a Gratitude Foundation. That's why I started with a Gratitude Foundation, because it is the ultimate accelerator to love, joy, peace, and light. Let's end this post today with a quote from Richard Rohr's Daily Meditation. Thanks to my sister for sending that over to me. I'm really enjoying that. It's become part of my daily habit now. I will put a link in the blog notes if you're interested. It's a great daily meditation. And today, I got up before recording this post, and I read this from Richard Rohr, and I said, I got to include this today. He said, "You are only free when you have nothing to protect and nothing you need to prove or defend. Trapped people have to do what they want to do. Free people want to do what they know they have to do. Admittedly, it takes a while to get there. Then he goes on to quote Eknath Easwaran. He says, "The joy we experience in these moments of self-forgetting is our true nature, our native state. To regain it, we have simply to empty ourselves of what hides this joy. That is, to stop dwelling on ourselves." And finally, Richard Rohr ends with, "As we forget our false floating self, we rediscover our substantial and anchored self, which is not very needy at all." If you think this is an awesome post, please share it with others. There's some real gems laying on the floor here, so pick them up and pass them on. Okay, meditate this week on all this really deep stuff, and I'll have more to chew on soon, and have a spirit-filled week. We'll talk to you soon.